Hello and welcome to all the men and women of the West. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Stan.
Hello and greetings.
Welcome to the Silmarillion Podcast. Today we're discussing the Unchaining of Melkor. So basically the last little bit of this chapter. Now we split it in two because Fëanor and the whole House of Finwë drama did need to be an entire video. Otherwise, we'd have had to cut it in half. And I actually had so much fun with that, I didn't want to. And it's rare that I ever get the chance to talk about Indus and Finwë and that whole thing. So we're also going to rapidly discuss the fact that Nerdinel, daughter of Matan, was mother to 7 kids. This is the most any elf ever mothered. Holy jeez, she must have been quite the woman. And her and Fëanor definitely had some fire between them. You know, spirit of fire, she's a blacksmith. Come on, you get it.
Yes.
What do you think of the fact that Nerdinel was fiery, but apparently more of a patient nature than her husband, and a bit more of a head on her shoulders? He wanted to, in some ways, control the minds of others. She saw it as, shrug, why would I want to try? People are going to think what they want to think. Let them be. I don't care.
That's an interesting difference because I can't help but think of, here it is, you have the dark, masculine, fiery energy, and you have the calm, peaceful, feminine energy.
It's kind of like that, although she's a hothead herself.
I don't deny that.
She's often depicted in art as red-headed, the main subject of this video, Melkor. One would think, okay, he's been enchained for 3 ages. This was the agreed upon punishment. Does he feel bad? He looks up with envy and hatred at the elves who are sitting at the feet of the Valar, and then agrees to a pinky promise to never do anything bad ever again. So, Manwë then goes, okay, I believe you. Because no one has ever broken a pinky promise.
Especially not Melkor.
Melkor proceeds to then start breaking the pinky promise immediately, whispering dark ideas to Fëanor, the greatest of elves.
He crossed his fingers.
Yeah, because he ends up claiming that he's the one who taught Fëanor in regards to the Silmarils. He really didn't teach him anything, especially since Fëanor hates him more than anyone else. Who could blame him? But Fëanor's arts were learned from Matan and Aule. I know what a lot of people are going to say. Aule's fault. Bear in mind, Aule is not at fault for everything. See our Crafting of the Dwarves episode of the Silmarillion Podcast for our thoughts on Aule. We're really not going to get into it again. Needless to say, Aule is kind of just there to help everyone. And if it were not for him, all the heroic side's forces would have no arms and arts with which to fight Melkor with. And darkness would have won. It is very foolish of Nienna to have begged in favor of Melkor. I suspect her reasons lie in that, well, we said 3 ages, and we can't break our promise. Yeah, but you know this guy doesn't mean a word of it. He's busy looking at the Silmarils going, mine. He's looking jealously at the elves, but meanwhile you have Fangel and Sauron over in Beleriand and over in Middle-earth doing nothing but evil.
Oops.
Is probably in communication with them. But
they should have broken their promise. Melkor would have done evil either way.
I actually think they should have probably slain Melkor right afterwards. They would have kept their promise. Technically, they wouldn't have broken it. On the other hand, I know people are going to say you can't tarnish the Holy Land of Aman. Then you take him right outside and do the deed there. Well, you have Tulkas do it. He'll volunteer. Except you can't, because no one can kill Melkor. He's too powerful. He's too powerful at this point. He's still in his purest form. But on the other hand, they should have kept him in prison. They should have re-imprisoned him and just contained him. But they didn't. They didn't think things through. Melkor, on the other hand, has none of the cards. He's at their mercy. But once freed, he starts to turn the tables immediately. Because, let's be honest, Melkor is very crafty. He's not stupid. He'll tell you what you want to hear and then just break his word anyways. He has no conception of honor and truth and whatnot. He's a liar and an oath breaker by nature.
And yet many of the Valar are surprised when he breaks his word.
Oh, they're shocked. There's
Right.
not a single one of them that goes, yeah, I saw this coming, except for Mandos. Remains quiet and shakes his head. And it's my boy, Ulmo. Of course, Ulmo did not attend the freeing of Melkor and is off in the sea just glowering at his siblings. It's not until the War of Wrath, I think, that he actually attends a meeting and says, okay, now I'm willing to talk to you guys because you guys royally screwed up on this Melkor business. Now, I suspect Tulkas was on board. After a while, when he'd crossed the halls of Amon, passing by Melkor, and Melkor would sneer at him and go, ha ha ha, so much for the tough Tolkas. What you gonna do? I suspect Tolkas was basically clenching his fists, clenching his teeth, and reminding himself the time will come when he'll get to punch out Melkor again and chain him from head to buttocks all over again. And at the end of the War of Wrath, Tolkas gets his shot and gets to tear down Morgoth a couple of pegs. But last thing to note is that no one will end up hating Melkor amongst the elves and the Valar more than Feanor. And it would be Feanor who would call him the Black Foe, or Morgoth. At least that's what the narrator says. I think we can say that of all the characters in the Legendarium, no one comes to hate Morgoth more than Húrin and Túrin. Because Húrin, oh boy does he have reason to hate Morgoth. Although, I can't help but hope that after Dagger-Daggeroth. On one last note, Morgoth sounds way cooler than Melkor or Melko. I'm just saying.
Sounds more evil.
Yeah, I like Melkor, but doesn't have the same gravitas as Morgoth. Now, I like Melkor as a name. I really do. It is a good choice for a Dark Lord name. But let's face it, Sauron, Morgoth. These are great names. Even Saruman. But Melkor doesn't have the same ring that Morgoth, Sauron, Saruman, Bankill do. What did you think of the Unchaining of Melkor? Of how he just said, I pinky promise?
That was a huge mistake. I mean, I understand most of you are of light and righteousness, but you shouldn't be lawful stupid.
What do you think of how Tolkas and Ulmo feel about this? And even Mandos. Now, Nienna really screwed up going, please forgive him. He made a mistake anyone could have made. That was foolish of her. Later, she's one of them that ends up vouching the most too for the Valar to go out there and fight Morgoth. So she, I think, kind of feels like she's got to atone for her mistake. And boy, does she ever. That said, what do you think of Mandos, Tolkas, and Ulmo really not being impressed with this move? I think it took Tolkas a bit longer, but he came around.
It's going to be a divine I told you so moment. Manwë and the others realize,
oops. Yeah, Ulmo does not tell them I told you so. I think Mandos kind of does. He's earned it. What do you think of the fact that whenever they cross in the halls, Tolkas would clench his fists?
I can't wait to see that story.
And there's about 5-6 different versions. They're all pretty good, but it's the War of Wrath. It's only a few paragraphs. But as you know, Tolkien can write in a few paragraphs what some authors couldn't approach with entire novels. Because, well, he's the greatest and the bestest. And I'm kidding. Anyways, tell us what you think. We beseech you. And don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button like your Tolkas finally pounding Melkor for his lunch money.